Hey David, how are you?
Hello, how's it going?
Doing well.
No one else is here yet?
Yeah, I guess you're coming all in at 7. Had a lot of folks that were traveling or they can't make it, so good thing we record them.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking up to see the agenda. Let's see.
Yep. So we're having JP Montoya. He's the Latino liaison officer
okay,
at 7, and then we're having my friend Lloyd Wolf come on and give us a condensed presentation on his Columbia Pike documentary project, which is being featured at the Library of Virginia. So that's gonna be
okay.
fantastic. So a lot of good stuff.
I'm also a photographer, and
Oh, excellent.
yeah, I've seen some of what they've been doing for that project on the Pike. It's cool,
Hmm.
kind of documentary style.
Hmm.
Yeah. So good. I'll look forward to that. Who's the president of the? Oh, you are now.
I am. Yes.
Okay, cool.
I've taken over from Pete. Yeah, and she's
Okay,
at her mom's funeral today, so
okay.
yeah, she won't be joining us. So
Okay, so I live on Veach Street, but I also live part-time in Shepherdstown, so that's where I'm right now. But I go back and forth. But yeah, I live over on 8th and Veach.
okay, excellent. Yeah, I live on the intersection of Ninth and Ross at those brick condominiums, West
Okay,
Hampton,
yeah,
right near Towers Park. I've been here
yeah,
since 1999, so grown
okay,
up here my entire life. So yeah,
okay. I
great
think
neighborhood.
my I think my neighbor, I think they lived in that complex before they moved in next door.
Hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. My parents bought into the place, 1999. Are for like 150 grand, and now our neighbor just sold an adjacent unit, same layout, same style as ours, and it's well into the 650 range. So
Right.
we're just shooting up, up, up.
Yeah, but that was a while ago too.
Oh yeah,
And so, yeah,
nowhere is cheap in Arlington anymore.
yeah,
South Arlington is pricey these days.
yeah. So, okay, yeah. So it's good to see they have a new president because I think Pete had done it for a long time.
Hmm. Yeah, we still need a secretary and an active VP. So if you're interested,
Yeah.
doors
Okay.
open.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how much they do. I guess they have these monthly meetings, and then she would go to a lot of county things, I think.
Oh yeah, yep. So that's all now on me. So we I've been keeping up with the monthly meetings. So we had one September, October, of course November. So next month I want to do something where we're in person. I'm so zoomed out.
Right. What's your business? Like, what do you do for work?
So I've spent the last 2 years working in state and local politics. I got a member of our state legislature who represents Fredericksburg elected in 2019, right when I got out of school from UMW, University of Mary Washington, Fredericksburg. The last 2 years, when I returned to Arlington in 2019, I managed a county board campaign for a gentleman named Chanda Chun, who was running in the Democratic primary. Timing
Mhm.
was pretty bad with COVID. So right now,
Yeah.
I'm taking a break from the politics thing and doing my photography business full time, which has been
Oh,
absolutely fantastic. So,
and what kind of photography do you do?
oh, I do everything. I do photojournalism, I do portraits, weddings, engagements, you name it, I do it. So,
Okay. What's
I'd love
your,
to
yeah.
connect with you. It's alexdakis.com.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
check.
I'm in the middle of like tweaking it and getting it ready to launch. So it's still some broken links and missing bio and some other stuff. But
Okay. Yeah, one of my sites is findphotoworks.com. So,
excellent. We should definitely
and
get together and take some shots sometime. That'd be fantastic.
yeah, I do a lot of portraits and then landscapes and stuff. So,
Excellent.
um, but I do it for fun, really. I retired early, so I was looking for something to do. But I see your site here, so I'll check
Mhm.
it out.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. I need to delete a bunch of stuff and fix a bunch of broken links and bio and a bunch of stuff. So it's not ready, which is why I haven't publicized it. But the photos
Okay.
on there are good to go. So
Yeah. My
how are you,
most recent,
JP?
what's that?
Oh, it's JP just joined us, Corporal Montoya.
Okay. Let's see. My most recent thing was the Vermont went up to there. The colors were very nice up
Oh
there.
wow, that's excellent.
Yeah. So, um,
I want to take another trip to Blackwater Falls, West Virginia. I was very active in my college. We had a photography club, and we took some great road trips and got some awesome stuff. I'll definitely share some of my landscape shots with you.
okay. Yeah, I'll send you an email after so you have it. But yeah,
Excellent.
we
Absolutely.
like Blackwater Falls.
Hmm.
It's nice there. Yeah. And yeah, we lived for a while part-time near Fredericksburg too, out Lake of the Woods. So
Oh, excellent. Yep.
yeah, I see you mentioned Fredericksburg. Yeah,
Yep. I went to school at University of Mary Washington. Graduated
yeah,
in 2019. Love my time there. Such an idyllic campus. Absolutely.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
the architectural style. Everything is so distinct. When I was touring some of these bigger schools like James Madison, I love the original nucleus of the campus, the copper piping and all the other. I don't know if you've seen the campus, but and
Yeah.
then you got these like two-story brick dorms, which were absolutely hideous. So they kept everything really tight at UMW, and everything's in that same kind of like Jeffersonian style, which is I loved it.
See, I like on this one that you did, I like combining the flash outdoors. I use like a strobe, nice portable.
Yeah, I've been getting into that. Yeah, I got a Flashpoint Explorer 600 with
That's what I use.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay. Yeah.
I use a Lenachrom in the studio, but for the outdoors, I use that exact setup and I love it. And it's the TTL, you just dial it down a little bit, and it does with a nice modifier, it does a great job.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got like a 34-inch beauty dish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works good. And then the grids, the large grids.
Yeah, I don't have the. I think I have the. I think my grid is still in the packaging. I've never like whipped it out to check it out, but I need to try it sometime and put it in front of the softbox.
Yeah. Well, we can talk photography later if you got to run your
Absolutely.
meeting here.
You're good. We'll give everybody another 2 minutes here to get logged in.
Okay.
Yeah, Barbara said photographer's jargon.
Yeah. No, yeah, we'll definitely talk more. I'll send you an email.
That sounds great.
Hey, Barbara. Oh, she's muted.
Hi there.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks.
How are you, Barbara?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing well. Give everybody another minute, and then I'll pull up the presentation. How are you, Corporal Montoya?
How you doing, Alex? Hi, everybody.
Glad you can join us. And yeah, how was your Veterans Day?
That was great. I was just at work, but it was great.
Yeah, I was reading your whole bio. You're very extensive.
Yeah, I've been around for a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, Lloyd's joining. He's in the waiting room waiting for him. Lloyd was so excited. He actually was the one to refer you to me a couple months ago. He goes, "You need to have Corporal Montoya on one of these Civic Association meetings." So we're glad to have you.
Thank you. I got my little dog looking at me here.
Hey, Lloyd. Okay.
How you doing, Lloyd? How are you?
Good. Let me get my PowerPoint pulled up here. Look, we got everybody. Excellent.
Good. How you doing, JP?
Doing good, sir. I need to get back to you. I'm sorry. I've been.
You're a busy guy. I get it. I actually thought we could just take that whole little paragraph out. It's not that interesting.
No, you don't have to. Now I'm light duty, so I'm gonna do a lot of stuff from home. So I'm catching up with emails, follow-ups. So I will do it tomorrow. I promise.
No problem. I'm actually up in DC working tomorrow. So
Okay.
the morning.
Okay, everybody can see my screen here. Excellent. Let me move this box. Yep. So we're going to jump in with our treasurer's report, membership update. I don't think we have anything that's changed since last month. And of course, we have Latino Liaison Officer Corporal J.P. Montoya with us this evening. He's going to share a little bit about his new appointment and how he seeks to bridge the gap between department and underserved communities. We have a fantastic presentation from my friend Lloyd Wolf on his Columbia Pike documentary project, currently being featured at the Library of Virginia. We'll run through a few community updates, and then we'll let you all get back to your evening. Here's our treasurer's report. We got 3,843. We just switched. Pete and I went to the bank last week, switched around the accounts, so now I have access, and she's on the virtual stuff, so I'm be getting the physical statements, so that'll be cool. And we have about asterisk 48 dues paying members. So some of those are families, some of them individuals. So I'll do an official tally once I get access to that. So as mentioned, we got Corporal Montoya with us this evening. Here's a bit of, you want to share a little bit about yourself? I got some bullet points here, but we got you here. So you can go ahead, Corporal.
Okay, hi everybody. Like everybody know, I'm Corporal Montoya. I've been in the department for almost 4 years. Can you guys see me?
Yep.
Okay, so the department created a position about a Latino officer, so that way I can engage with the Latino community. As all we know, we have a lot of population about Latinos living in the county, not even south side, north side. So it's gonna be part of my job to kind of bridge that gap between the Latino and the police department and the police department and the Latino community. So part of my job is to make sure like the Latino community are not afraid to call the police. They need to know that we are here to help, that we are here to provide service. We're not here to ask for any immigration status. We're not here to like just pick and choose because, you know, what kind of Latino, if you hear, I mean, depends on your status. We don't want to ask anything. We are here to help, to provide service. We need to make sure the Latino community, how I say this, we have an issue like the Latino community reporting crimes. I've been in contact with a few members of the community, just walking in the park, going in the parks. They're like, hey, officer, I just want to let you know something. A few weeks ago, one of my friends got pistol grip in the head. Somebody took his wallet and his money. And they don't even call the police. So that stuff like that has to be reported. So that's part of my job, like make sure like these members of the community report the crimes, and they need to feel comfortable that they can report the crime anytime. So that's my main focus, make sure that community report the crimes and make sure like we can engage in the community. And you know my email, ACPD Latino Liaison. If anybody know anything, if anybody have a like want me to get in contact with Spanish member of the community, just please be free, give my information.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So I have those crime statistics you sent over, and I got that really cool video they did of you that I want to pull up here in the next slide.
I want to become a police officer because I was in the Marine Corps for 9 years, and I served the country, and now I want to serve the community. As a Spanish officer, build a relationship between the Spanish communities and the police departments. I think it's a little barrier between the Spanish communities and police. So I want to be part to, so they see a police officer like Spanish guy. So I can pretty much build a good relationship between the community and the police department. All that little second or 2 seconds that you take asking somebody how they're doing, they may change this relationship between you and the community.
Yeah, I thought that was super cool. And I was like, man, it looks like something out of a Marvel movie.
That's really nice.
Certainly one of our hometown heroes, that's for sure.
I want to become.
So I added these Penrose specific crime statistics you sent me if you want to break down this a little bit for us.
So as you guys see right here in 2020, all these stats, and you see at the end of the numbers, a lot of stuff it remained the same, and also a lot of stuff go down and up. So a lot of the stuff is going on in the county is like, let me take one as an example right here. For example, like destruction of property, vehicles kind of went down a little bit in Penrose. You know, like all these 9 p.m. routine that we kind of pushing every day in the website, in the Arlington County Police Department Facebook page. Like, you know, lock your doors, make sure you don't leave anything in plain view, make sure you lock your car. All this stuff's been working in all the areas. Kind of like, you know, larceny from autos are happening, but are going in these specific areas kind of going down compared with the last year. And what else? We have some incidents like, for example, this one, 101 South Barton, the robbery. it's only two incidents, like kind of major incidents that happen in this neighborhood. It's not it's there was no like a somebody got target. It's just happening. Sometimes, you know, people go to 7-Eleven and they do bad stuff. And let me give you another example right here. We had this saying like stolen vehicles, 4 in 2020 and 4 in 2021, and 4 in 2020 and 4 in 2021. A lot of these vehicles, they get stolen is because people left the car unattended when they go, like Uber Eats or Uber drivers, they left the vehicles unattended and they go inside the business to grab the food. And when they go outside, the vehicle is gone. So a lot of the stuff, a lot of the crime that is happening in the county can be a little bit prevented. And a lot of the incidents, if you see right here, they say 88, the others, it can be like they can be anything that is not like a major stuff, like can be like an accident, it can be like, you know, farm property, it can be something like that. So the numbers are really kind of, low. Knock on wood, we need crime in Arlington County is a little bit, it's not like almost the same last year, but we try to keep it in the low numbers.
Mhm.
And if you see this map right here is the little statistics about the areas. And we see these, the blue ones are like 2021 and the red one is 2020. Kind of happening, same things happen in the same area. Can be accidents, can be larcenies from auto, it can be like any, you know, all the calls can be like domestic, call for service, you know, domestic disputes, accidents. It can be a lot of those type of calls in those blue and red.
Mhm.
Anyone have any questions?
Any questions or comments for Corporal Montoya while he's with us?
Hey, this is Steph. I put it into the chat window.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steph. I can't see the chat. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Yep.
So for Corporal, I wanted to see if you'd be holding like office hours to kind of show up at a routine time so that neighbors, especially like the kids at Columbia Pike Library, it's definitely much quieter over there, but sometimes seeing somebody routinely helps to build that relationship. Are you planning anything like office hours or a routine schedule like that?
Absolutely. Like, for example, a lot of citizens, they always send emails to us. Hey, officer, can you please send somebody to this location? We're going to have an event in the afternoon. Or if they see like kids doing bad stuff or kids doing things they don't supposed to be doing, they always send an email. Hey, can you guys come to this location and talk to the kids? They've been doing this and this and this. Yes. And if you send me an email, and I can pass it to the correct person, and also myself and all the officer, we can go there and we can engage the community. And we get emails from all the citizens all the time, complain about speeding, complain about, let's say, people smoking or drinking on the parks. So we take these complaints, or we take these kind of invitations to be involved in the community. And if you send me an email with the location, time, and it's something specific that you want me to do, I'll be there.
Corporal Montoya, I can put your email in the chat. I know you had read it previously. Can you read that off one more time? I'll put it in the chat for everybody.
I'm gonna put the email, CPD Latino. I'm just gonna give you my email.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can put it in the chat. Okay, that'd be easier.
Yeah, and for this, it's not, a complaint about what the kids are doing. It's just, seeing that familiar face that they start to recognize you. So they're seeing you, not necessarily the uniform, because you're in the community routinely in a positive manner.
Absolutely. I can go. Yes, I can go that. I can do that. I love to do that. I'm always on the Columbia Pike. I'm always go to little parks. I always go to events. I'm always walking around Clarendon. I go to a lot of places during the day. So yes, I would like to go there. It's a great opportunity to engage the community. And also sometimes when I go to, let's say if I go to Columbia Pike, I get in contact with the officer that patrol that area. So that way, that officer that is over there every single day in the afternoon, he can recognize different faces, kids, members of the community, business owners or people that work in the business. Because I'm the community outreach officer, but the officer that works in that B is the officer that is over there every single day. But definitely, I will be there.
Great, thanks.
Right, awesome. We got your email address in the chat. Anybody want to copy that down, and I'll be sure to forward that to everybody on our email thread.
And you can send me an email with anything, concerns, if you have any questions, if you are, you worry about people speeding in your neighborhood, just give me a location, I'll pass it to SOS, Special Operations. And if you see something, you can send me an email with anything.
Yep, I can attest. He got right back to me for this invitation for this evening, so he's on it. So, well, thank you so much, Corporal. It's great to have you.
No, thank you so much.
You're welcome to stay, or if you, I'm sure you're a busy guy, but I'm always going to be presenting some of his photography. So you do what you need to do. You're welcome to stay and listen to his presentation if you have the time.
No, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna listen to the presentation.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep in the
perfect.
background.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And anybody have any question, please be free. Send me an email. Always, one phone call away.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Here we go. So we got Lloyd this evening. So Lloyd is the Columbia Pike Documentary Project's project director and co-founder. He's the son of a German Jewish refugee and grandson of Jewish immigrants from Eastern Europe. He is an educator, activist, and the recipient of a National Endowment for the Arts Photography Survey grant. Wolf's award-winning images have been featured in 4 books, over 150, just 150, international exhibitions, permanent museum collections, and in numerous editorial publications, including the Washington Post, Vogue, People Magazine, Smithsonian Channel, National Geographic Explorer, and more. So we're going to have a curated selection of his photos in the Columbia Pike Documentary Project this evening. Let me get that pulled up. Anything else in your bio you wanted to throw in there, Lloyd?
Yeah.
Get some good points.
As my father used to put it, I look good on paper.
Yeah.
So, no, it's fine. It's nice. So, thank you for inviting me, Alex. And
Absolutely.
however you want to run this is fine. I think it's self-running, by the way. And I just want to say to the group that Penrose is one of the areas we cover, that it's not just the Columbia Pike Documentary Project is not just me. I am been the director for most of the time. Currently, we have several other photographers and a writer, Sushmita Mazumdar, and other photographers are Laura Ajami and Dewey Tron and Mimi Ho. We also had for a while Alexandra Lacreva and Moises Gomez. And we've had some interns over the years. As far as we know, it's the only project of its type that documented community for as long as we have. It's been, I guess, since 2007 with roots back to 1979. And what our idea originally was, the Columbia Pike community is as diverse as a place on the planet exists. And at one time, we believed it was the most, not that long ago. And we thought, Paul Ando and I, who both used to teach in Arlington, both were at Career Center, and then we both went out of the county system, thought, this is worth looking at. There's so many cultures here, and people mostly are getting along. What you're going to see is, short interviews and then pictures. And I think we get the pictures, the closest thing I can do. There are 2 books available. We did the first book called Living Diversity, which was specifically examining the wealth of diverse cultures on the Pike and a bit about their lives. And then the second book, which is more recently out. It's called Transitions. It's as the Pike changes. We're not supposed to use the word gentrification, but I'm going to, as that occurs. There are changes physically and demographically, and we're examining how a community that largely values diversity and the good things it brings copes with those changes. We've mostly done it through interviews and then photographs. In this book, we interviewed 20, I think, people. We're doing another project called The Road Ahead. And in The Road Ahead, we're interviewing 12 to 15 younger people who's the future of the Pike, so that we get a sense of where we're going. So I guess you can let it roll here. So David Amoroso lives on the Pike or right near it. He's an artist who does a lot of work, not only about Latino culture. He himself is not, though he's very invested in the community. Spent a long time living in Mexico. And he's a self-taught artist, and he's doing pretty well at it. And Denise Haskins lives across the Pike from you all. Lives in the Arlington View, Johnson Hill area. Talks about growing up there, the nature of the community and the changes. Many of the people in that community and other of the African American Black communities are longtime residents of Arlington, and probably the most stable community demographic in terms of who's here. This is Dr. Haskins. Pete Durgan, everybody knows. I've known Pete a long time. And we've been documenting also more in the first book, the annual great Memorial Day party that her family throws. It's many, many people. Pete, their family is also one of the first Latino families in the county. Pete reflects on that in her interview. She also talks quite a lot about, the changes that are coming potentially where the career center is and other impacts in the neighborhood. Pete's an old friend. I like the t-shirt.
I love that shot. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're proud to be from Arlington to South Arlington. Interestingly, the house she lives in was built by her grandfather, and a lot of the wood is from Robert E. Lee's stable when it was torn down. Pete's grandfather was a musician in the Army band. They were tearing it. This is in the 1920s. They were tearing down the stable. He asked for the wood, and it's in that house. Mm-hmm. Pete's great. David Pete is the main person at BM Smith, which is Arlington's oldest, continually operating oldest business. The company owns a lot of the commercial and rental spaces along the Pike. They developed the Penrose Square complex. He describes himself as sort of like, though it's a big business, it's not gigantic. He says we're like the local homegrown organic developer. He is very invested in the community. Ms. Turieva approached us, actually got her through some of David Pete's people. She's a Tajiki woman with all kinds of credentials and academic credentials. Had a little trouble moving in, but has started a business. I actually noticed recently it was written up in the Washington Post. She does a lot of work at the farmers market. She's also got a little nonprofit that works helping new immigrants integrate into the community. A lot of people don't know where the resources are. Like Corporal Montoya said, they just don't know what's available to them. So she's got her own thing with that too. And she's at the farmers market with Tasty Eurasia. Katie Crystal's on the county board, lives in Douglas Park. We talked to her a lot about policy. Obviously, that was the case. She We didn't know when we had the picture done, Mimi Ho, one of our photographers did it, that she was pregnant. Now she's a mom. But, we thought getting someone to talk about policy was important. She was deeply involved. It's not easy stuff. Adam is president, Henderson is president of the Civic Association of Douglas Park. He's also chair of the Pike President's Group. Apparently, he's a very effective leader. Several people referred us to Adam. He's been watching how the community changes, how he and his husband have integrated into the community. Also, they have on July 4th a picnic. He says it's a potluck that they see all kinds of foods from all over the world.
Yeah, I've gotten to meet Adam a few times as I've been going to the Pike President's Group in my new role as Penrose chair. And I think this will be one of the last sessions he's going to be chair of the Pike President's Group. And I only know him a little bit from my short time doing this, but I'm certainly going to be sad to have him step down. He's been a very effective leader.
He really knows his stuff. Like Alex, you too, and then Pete before you, it's not something you do for money. It's a community service. And Adam's done quite a bit for the whole Pike community in general. Margaret Chung is principal at the Career Center where Paul and I used to teach. And she talks about having to integrate, all the students in, and she believes that though she grew up here, largely originally Korean, went to school, she grew up in McLean, that it helps her relate to the students. They have a different mission in a sense than the other high schools, and that they're complete their CTE, career and technical education. They're trying to get people jobs, so they're job ready for when they leave. There she is at the Career Center. Also by Mimi Ho. Joan, I don't know if everybody kind of knows Joan. She's a civil rights heroine. I used to teach her kids. She used to teach her Patrick Henry, doing Esau. But she was at the absolute front lines during the civil rights movement. She's from Arlington, has a thick Southern accent because she's 80 now. Grew up in Buckingham's, lived off of George Mason area for a long time. She had 5 boys. I got her to talk a lot about the neighborhood, even though she's mostly known for her activism. She was a freedom rider, and she was on those buses in the South. She was arrested many times fighting for the right to vote and other dignities that had been denied our Black citizens of our country. Very brave woman. She's holding a copy of her mugshot from when she was sent to Parchman prison. I said, "You have the best looking mugshot ever," and she said, "I had a lot of practice." There's also a plaque to her up in Cherrydale now because she let us sit in at the Cherrydale drug fair, and also in other places in Arlington, but eventually moved south to where it was significantly more dangerous. And came back and had a family and had a career working in schools.
Well, and her son, as Lloyd mentioned, he runs her Joan Mulholland Foundation, and he sells a variety of shirts and T-shirts and things that
Yeah, he's also
honor of her.
Loki kind of outed her. She had kind of faded back in woodwork, and she's now busy giving talks. I was in Memphis at the Civil Rights Museum there just ahead of COVID. And there's a statue of people sitting in at a lunch counter in Jackson, Mississippi. She's one of them. And it was sort of weird, I've known Joan a long time. I did not know till a few years ago that she was a freedom rider.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And that mugshot, I bought a shirt from Loki, and it says "Be a Joan" on it. I'll find it in my drawer later on and show everybody, but I wear it with pride. But a few people over at Howard Park asked me, "Oh, is that Joan?"
Joan is very Southern. If you go to her house and have coffee, she'll make it with chicory, which is the old-fashioned way. Anyway, Claudia Cuellar is originally from Guatemala. She lives, they keep changing the name. It used to be called Columbia Heights West. I forget what they call that neighborhood now. I was very touched by her. She had to leave Guatemala because, she had a pretty good job as a secretary, but things got very rough down there with crime and with corrupt government, lack of work. She came across the border, came here, she married another Guatemalan. She cleans houses and babysits. Her husband is a handyman, and she's very active with the schools. And she said something that reminded me of my mom's uncle. She said, I don't ever feel any shame cleaning people's houses, cleaning their toilets. It's honest work. Her kids are at Nova and George Mason getting engineering degrees. They're doing what they're supposed to, what our country can offer. But my granduncle also cleaned toilets when he came to America, and we were always told he was a mensch, a good man, because he took care of his family, he was honest, and his kids moved forward. It was a very similar story I could relate to. She's also very active in her church at St. Anthony's, Corpus Christi on Bailey's. Mr. Barua owns a couple of businesses. He's Bangladeshi. We have quite a large Bangladeshi community along the pike. He owns the Exxon station, and he owned a pizza place. It looks like it's a different one now. I don't know if he still owns it. He's entrepreneurial. He came here, has worked very hard, was mentored by somebody to do it. He's experienced some discrimination, but he's doing well for himself. He just rises above. Hardworking man. There he is in the pizza store that he owns. When he got interviewed, Sushmita interviewed him. She speaks Bengali also, though she's from India. And apparently she took the notes in English, but they had their conversation in Bengali, which I thought was fascinating. Saul was right next to you guys. He owns Acme Pie. Used to sort of be part of the punk rock scene. He's very community oriented. He's also maybe the hardest working guy I know personally. The interview is pre-COVID, but he was getting up, I guess, every day, like 3 a.m, firing up the ovens, making the pies, taking them out of the ovens, letting them cool, takes a nap, then delivers them to the restaurants and specialty stores around town. I mean, every day. Plus, he has, the store itself where they have art readings and things like that. And they've had some music events too.
One of the things, I was reading a bunch of these interviews, Lloyd, in preparation for your presentation tonight. I loved, as you'll see in this, maybe not this page, but I was flipping through Saul's specifically and how he got into the pie business. He's a classically trained pastry chef.
Right.
And it was simply he had a logistical background as, a business guy. And he said just the fact that I could box up and stack all the pies, it was a no-brainer.
Right. Yeah, he said,
yeah,
you'd done that with, cream puffs, they'd all be broken. Mm-hmm. Pies are sturdy, correct. And he finally went out on his own. He said, the food business is a real grind. He knew how to work.
And there he is at Acme. Yeah.
Yeah, got a great business.
Mm-hmm.
This is Rosina Negussi, she was living in an Apple in Arlington Mill apartments run by Arlington Apartment Affordable Housing. They'd given her some award, and the resident advisor turned me to her. She was very recent. She's from southern Ethiopia, in Roma, and she's Muslim. Her sister is Christian. Her parents divorced. That's not uncommon that people of multiple religions there. She was on her way to medical school, even though she had very little English. I mean, she could speak, but not strongly. She's very determined. She's in pre-med now. And there she is. And now you're just gonna see a bunch of pictures by a variety of photographers.
So Lloyd, as I blow through these and keep clicking, let me know if there's something you want to slow down and talk
Sure,
about.
yeah, just keep
Jump in.
going.
Yep.
Just keep going.
So I tried to pick a few that are, a section of these that was pertained as close to Penrose and obviously
Sure.
off the Pike, but
Sure.
our stretch of the Pike is possible.
Sure. This is if I remember, I took this from the penthouse of the Sheraton.
Yep. I was looking at this one. I was like trying to figure out which section of the Pike, and I realized I live right in the lower right quadrant there. Those brick
Interesting.
condominiums that went.
And there's St. John's Church.
Yep.
So, that's now a big building. That's now Gilliam Place, Arlington Partnership for Affordable Housing. The picture on the left is before. The picture on the right is the construction. Now it's a big affordable housing unit, plus La Cocina in the basement on the first floor. Strip mall, it hasn't changed much, but it's actually interesting. If you look at the stores, almost everyone is owned by a different ethnic group. Dollar Plus and Mattresses now was Latino owned. Right now, I walked in, it's Moroccan owned. Lara Ajami, who's Arabic, was with me. Normally, she's from Syria. Syrians and Moroccans can't really speak to each other. The dialect is so good, but they were speaking formal Arabic. I've been to Morocco. It's a fascinating place. It's interesting that there's quite a number of them in our area. If you go in the store, it's very clear he's Moroccan. Penrose Square, right after, I guess pretty recent. That's, these were when it was first built. We had pictures of it, another book, the previous shopping center there, Adams Mill. We have that coming down, this going up.
I'm 25, but I'm just old enough to remember the old shopping center with the giant food on the left, the giant pharmacy on the right. And when I was young, my mom used to take me to the Cowboy Cafe
Right.
in that shopping center. So yeah.
Right, and there was a fancy, a wedding dress maker, and I can't remember all the businesses. It was there for a long time, but what was one of the first things we photographed was that shopping center before it got knocked down. This is a view towards Arlington Mill Community Center. Just busy street. This is gone.
Yep.
I don't remember if that's Dewey or Mimi's picture. Probably Dewey. By the look of it. Dewey-tron. That's now Harris Teeter, where it's called Centro. Also, luxury, high, not mid-rise apartments with retail. That's actually when the shopping center was knocked down. This is the construction. That's it. Dewey took that one at night. This is it being constructed. If you notice, very small, it says Harris Teeter, start the boycott now. It didn't seem to work, but there was quite a bit of controversy, particularly in the Barcroft apartments, about losing Food Star, which was where people got their stuff and could walk to. Now they have to go to Bailey's to get that kind of stuff. Here it is coming. I think that's Mimi's shot. Most of it. If I don't say what it is, it's probably mine. That place is gone.
Yep.
It's now a Palestinian-owned Middle Eastern restaurant. That place apparently was trouble. I'm aware. Without going into it, the owners, there was trouble there. JP's people probably had to go through there all the time. This is when they renamed the bridge Freedman's Village Bridge, we wanted to document it. Our main focus tends to be people, but it's important to get the physical changes too and render them cleanly.
There's the boiler.
The broiler is one of the older businesses on the Pike, though it originally was I found pictures of it from way back. It used to be an auto mechanic shop. And you can
I've
see,
seen that as well. It's amazing how the building, I mean, it's maintained the same shape. It was so cool at seeing it in that garage style way back in
yeah,
the day.
yeah, but that, you know, that the church steeple is gone there. There's a high rise in that spot.
Right.
Yeah, that's Dewey. Dewey likes to take pictures at night. You get these wacky colors, but it's, you know, part of the community. This is had been an Asian store. Two of our photographers are Asian, and then it's now Latino.
This one I really liked here.
Yeah,
The hard hat.
I'm shooting this for Apple. I got paid to do this one. You know, this was, you know, all the county officials and bankers and the people from Arlington Partnership for Affordable Housing. But I thought it was more interesting without them, just showing the scene. That's a park now behind the building. Mickey D's.
Yeah.
It's one in every.
Renovated, not it. I mean, that was one of the last hold-offs for a long time, for years, while they were renovating all their restaurants entirely. So no more red roof and the white signage is up to their 2021 standards. You know, all touch screen when you go in to order your food, all that stuff. So
I'm vegetarian. I never go in, but yeah.
that's what I love here.
That one's Dewey's. He lives right at near that corner. He lives on Dinwiddie Street. He grew up there. His parents are from Vietnam. I'm pretty sure he was born here, but the household, they speak Vietnamese in the house, in the home. He grew up with it. This is the church right by you all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a pretty old thing. Burrito Brothers. That gets photographed a lot by us. That red background. We've used it for portraiture and all kinds of things. Good burritos too.
I was just there last week. I love their food. Always try to patronize our local Penrose.
Yeah, and at one point we photographed the owner and his mom too. Nice people. I think they're in the first book, not in this transitions book. Bob and Edith. Gas prices are up.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting because I look at our pictures over the years and they've been this high before. They come down, they go up, you know.
Now I have a collection of your people in the Pike that we'll go through, and these were the highlight, in my opinion, of the work.
Yeah, it's the most fun part. I mean, these are the guy at the left. He was both of them are construction workers. They're on different sites. I actually photographed a fair bit of construction work myself, doing it tomorrow morning. Woman on the left was over in Columbia Heights West. Woman on the right, I forget which Bolivian festival she was at, but that's Bolivian. Guy on the left, I don't remember where. Woman on the right was at a Latino Latin American festival that was at the Arlington World Community Center. I just like how she's kind of dancing. This is at the Blues Festival that the CPRO and the Alcohol Columbia Pike Partnerships puts together. This is in front of the burrito place. He was waiting for the bus. I said, "Can I do your picture?" I just really like the way it looks. We've done a lot of pictures at Prio Bangla that had their festival last week, though it had to be because of COVID. They still had some restrictions, so it was a car parade. If you all ever have a chance next year, hopefully we'll be back to full. It's a good time. This is Dewey's father. I guess it's Saki. This was at the Blues Festival, but of course, being the Pike, there's people from everywhere there. I just like the flag and the hijab and the bouncy car and all the kids and the goofy son, Cheaps, Blues Festival. This was probably at a Arlington Community Foundation meeting at the Sheraton. This is probably Bangla, but it's Bolivian dancers. That's by Dewey. That one, that's probably by Laura Ajami. That's taken at Penrose Square. He works there.
Yeah, I know. Is it Clark? I'm trying to. I was going to ask you what his name was. I think it's.
I don't remember. He likes to talk.
Oh yeah, I used to work. I was my summer job. This would be me graduating HB Woodlawn 2014. So that summer I went and I was I was a bagger, and then I was a formal cashier. I did parcel pickup, so I did all that stuff for Giant. But I would run into Clark almost every day, and he and I got to be very friendly. We talked.
He's a very nice fellow.
And he's still out there, I believe. I think I saw him a couple weeks ago. So I don't know if he remembers me, but it'd be good to.
Very pleasant guy.
Very nice guy.
I don't remember where. I do remember the face. I photographed at a lot of events on the Pike. A lot of them have actually been through Arlington Partnership for Affordable Housing. My guess is this is at one of those that had health fairs and openings when they redid buildings. And my guess is that's the beautiful eyes. This is at Pete Durgan's family's Memorial Day picnic. It just, that kid's face just cracks me up. This is also in front of the burrito place. We've seen Linda around a few times. Laura and I, this is mine, but Laura got a very similar picture. This was at a fall festival at Penrose Square a couple of years. All this stuff, almost all this is pre-COVID. Yeah, because the book came out just out of COVID. Basically, it was like a beer festival. This is the same thing.
I love this one.
Yeah.
With the glasses.
Yeah, and the hat mirroring it. Tricky exposure. These are in Patrick Henry School. I did work with both Dahlia Constantine's third graders and then her mentee, Nathan Irwin, who took over from her when she went on to get her doctorate. Dahlia was Teacher of the Year in the state, metro area. She's back in Arlington. Egyptian woman. And that kid was Kurdish, and I was photographing in their classes on a regular basis and running workshops for them. They're just, over on Penrose Square playing with, the shapes.
Yeah. I love this where he's looking through the
bike rack.
Yeah, the bike rack there. Great shot.
This is at Columbia Pike now partnership, Columbia Pike Partnership annual meeting. Mr. Snyder's, I think he's the chair, board chair, speaking. The one on the left was at a street meeting, or community meeting to try to keep affordable housing and for the mostly Latin community. Fell on the right was at the Latino festival.
These I love.
Yeah, the one on it's interesting, those two pictures are together on the outside of the building at the Library of Virginia, about 10 feet high. But in the same two pictures right next to each other. One on the left is somebody at Pete's Durgan Flores family Memorial Day picnic. The one on the right is Prio Bongo. The word bangle comes from bongo, Bengal.
Yeah, the colors were just outstanding, and the one on the right with all the different, bracelets were just
bangles.
Great.
This is Prio Bangla. I like that there's the three red circles. It's for sure coincidence, but it works. For what it's worth, the gentleman in the middle is a very high level nuclear atomic physicist. Super brain. This is one of Laura Ajami's picture. This one is very big up at the Virginia Library. It's at the little park outside of Penrose Square.
Yeah.
This is Prio Bangla, also by Laura Ajami. I think this is mine. It might be Dewey's. I'd have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's mine. It's in that shopping center between, just west of Dinwiddie, Columbia Pike Plaza. It's a Bolivian woman, but it's at Priyo Bangla. They even though it's a Bangladeshi festival, they bring people from other cultures, including Appalachian cloggers, and I've seen Chinese dancers and Cambodian dancers along with them. This was at one of the civic associations used to have food truck rodeos down by the Goodwill, that little area by 4-wheel drive. And I just thought, you know, there's 3 cultures right there in the food: Korean barbecue taco. You know, I thought that's this area, Korean American fusion food, but it also taco. This was also at that food rodeo. This said Pete, actually Pete's mom is on the left. She's passed away very recently. It's at their Memorial Day party. This is at this is by Laura Jami. This is at First Thanksgiving for Refugees that Ethiopian Community Development Council has on North Highland. They're not doing it this year because of Delta, and they're so overwhelmed by the big number of Afghan refugees they're bringing in and taking care of that they're not holding a live Thanksgiving. It's usually, but they've done it for many years. It's often the first time these new people in our country experience Thanksgiving. It's really quite a lovely event. This is it. This is mine. This is at the same event, a different year. These are both from that event. Blues Festival. I just love that little kid. The body. This is Laura's. Also, this is Syrian woman at the first Thanksgiving.
I love the the headdress with the zebra print and then the leather jacket with the spikes. It's like this punk rock. The headdress.
Metalhead with a hijab. Yeah. If you go to the Middle East, it wouldn't surprise you as much, but you don't see it here that much. This is Priyo Bangla again. This is again Priyo Bangla. It's so colorful. I mean, Alex, you're a photographer. You go to things that, like my camera's, recording chip is going like back off, too much color. These are not added. I am not adding saturation. That's how bright it is.
I love this one with the gold and the red and everything you had behind them with the gold and red.
It's
perfect.
They're lovely people too.
Oh, yeah.
I actually have a pretty good relationship with their group. This is more construction. Probably Blues Festival. This is the Latino festival at Arlington Mill. These are Mexican dancers. Most of the Latin people and Spanish-speaking people in our community are Central American, non-Mexican. We do have some Mexican community members as well as others, but it was nice to see this specifically Mexican culture piece. That's Pete's brother.
Okay, I thought that was Joe.
That's Joe.
With the bandana.
Lighting up a cigar on Memorial Day picnic.
Oh, we love Joe. Yeah.
Yeah,
He goes to my dog park at Towers Park. That's how I met him. He and my dad are good friends now. So
he's a great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. It's a whole range. These are by 3 different photographers. The 2 on the right are mine. The one upper left is Laura's. Bottom left is Dewey's. Just various places on the pike. Woman at the top is a former pretty heavy-duty photojournalist who's become a sculptor in the Columbia Pike Artist Studio, right around the corner from the Arlington Cinnamon Draft House. That's also probably first Thanksgiving. We've covered it for many years, so I don't know which year. Now, that was at Walter Reed Center. This was a Guatemalan center gay celebration group. dancers. This was at that fall festival one year. Trio Bangla, you notice the American and Bangladeshi flag on the drum. One on the left is by Laura, one on the right, probably some Bolivian festival. There are quite a few. I don't see that as much now. COVID's changed a lot. And the one on the right is the Blues Fest. We're hoping now that we hope by summer things are back. This is Laura's. It's for Ethiopian Community Development Council uses this picture a lot. Brand new. And you see who we've gotten our money from. And Paula and Todd helped us. And there's a phrase on there. This is what peace looks like. I've done work in the Mideast, and and I do work in DC. That's in the rough side. Well, you can see from Copal Montoya's thing that we do not have a perfect society here, but by and large, people get along and are largely at peace. And to us, we have an experiment in living that's going on in our Pike area that people from all over the world live together, and by and large, not perfect, they get along. It's just to me a model for how we should be doing things in the world, certainly in our own community. That's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Lloyd? I think Steph, did you have one?
I was going to ask, what is his favorite place to go to vacation? But listening to all this, it seems like your work is your vacation.
Well, yes and no. I mean, it is work, but I mean, I've been doing it. It's interesting because I've done documentary stuff of other places and times, but the thing, you look at the picture right there. Those, except for the shot in the middle of that shopping center. It looks like those pictures were taken in, 20 different countries. They're all taken in a 4 mile by, half a mile space. So I've learned to look at our place that way. Favorite place to vacation? I don't know. I really like going to Ireland one year. We went to Portugal, my partner Ruth and I, and really love Portugal. I mean, I'm getting older, and one day I hope to travel more. Work used to take me to some places. I'd like to get back to Morocco. I really was fascinated by it. But I've never, I have all these friends from Asia and South America, and I've never been, friends and coworkers, and I've never been to those places. And someday I'd like to go. But it's interesting, we have in this set you're not seeing a lot of Mongolians. We've been doing them more after the book came out. We started connecting with their community. The new project, if you go to our blog, you can see continually, there you go. You continually gets updated. We just added the stuff from Priya Bangla and a couple of Tigrayan women. And we're adding the interviews and photographs as we go along because we think it allows for some community history to go. All the work is housed at the Library of Virginia, which is like our state's Library of Congress. And eventually we hope we're going to get it all transferred to our local library, central libraries, the Center for Local History, because, this stuff changes fast. It really changes fast. And we just, also, you can get in touch with me, through our blog, or Alex can post my email.
I'll send all your contact info, your website, and all that good stuff.
We're looking for younger people to interview who, have about the future of the Pike. And if somebody articulate and interesting might be available, we're happy to consider them. Either
right here, Lloyd.
Actually,
anytime. I need some pictures of me. I got pictures of everybody in town, but yeah, I don't think I've got a new picture of myself since I graduated college, so
You're the
Let me
right
know.
age. You know,
Define younger. What would count as younger?
JP's the oldest guy we're probably going to interview. Anywhere from sort of an articulate junior high kid through 30
Okay.
or early 30s, early 30s. We're thinking of the road ahead. So I'm interviewing somebody on Friday who's a George Mason student who grew up in the Barcroft area, Barcroft Apartments. And we're open to, in theory, we could go younger. The trick with a really young kid is that they're hard to interview because they tend not to trust or understand grown-ups, you know, and it takes more work, but we can do multiple sessions. If a kid we did some interviews in the first book with Dahlia, with the third graders in Dahlia Constantine's class. You know, what they had to say tends to be short and to the point. They were very food oriented, interestingly, and the games they like to play and the books they like to read. I guess probably junior high through 30, early 30s. That's what I mean by younger.
Okay, thank you. That helps. So I'm within the cutoff, and I think other people I know might be also in that window.
Yeah, because we're thinking of what's, I'm 69, I hope to be around for a while yet, and active. I probably will be, my body holds up, hopefully it will. But you guys are what are going to be shaping it and have expectations of what you'd like to see. And that's kind of what we've been interested in examining.
excellent. Is there a sign-up form for that, or just email you?
Email me. Email me. Either Sush or I would do, Sushmita Mazumdar would do the interview, and either I or one of the other photographers or a combination would do the portraiture. We're hoping in a couple of cases to do, more than one interview, because sometimes people reflect, and we also want to try to get, in some cases, into people's homes. I think one of the weakest things we have is that most of our work takes place in the publics that we've documented, not all, but a lot of it is in the public spaces. People don't live in the public spaces, they live in their house. So, caring for grandma, working in the kitchen, getting the kids ready for school. We have some of that, but not as much as I would like. We're doing a little black and white now, but particularly Laura is really good at it. We've made a conscious effort to do this in color because color is less abstract, which sounds funny, but it is. It's more like what you see in real life, unless you're colorblind. And there's a tendency when you see something in black and white it becomes classic. It becomes at a distance in time, whether it is or not. And I saw, very short, a book that was done in photographs done in the late 30s, early 40s by Farm Street Herding administration, led by Walker Evans. That was most of the famous pictures, documentary pictures of the Depression were from that piece, the migrant mother and Okie farmers and all the great work that was done there, the people in front of the American Dream billboard and the bread line by Margaret Buck White were all done for that project. We know them in black and white. At the end of the project, they were shooting in color. And Archives or Library of Congress put together a book of that work. And I found it riveting because it doesn't feel so far away in time. I found it felt more real. As much as, something flat on a page can evoke reality. Anyway, we're happy to get contacts. Send me, your query or a recommendation. Be happy to talk. I mean, we have a few months to get it done.
What's the cutoff date? Do you have one at the moment?
Uh,
Or
Probably,
just a rough up
well,
month,
we
you know,
want to
that
be
you're trying
done,
to get done
we're,
by?
we're going to be going out to farmers markets with our stuff, but probably we want to wrap up the interviews by probably late spring.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I'm on an Arlington Arts grant. That's got to be done by July. That's easier. The bigger grant is from Virginia Humanities. Got split between 5 people though. Most of that needs to be done by September. We're in for a grant from Library of Congress. I have zero idea if we'll get it. If we do, then we'll have another couple months for that piece, like a year from now. But I think Sush and I want to try to really get rolling on the interviews in the next few months. We've started. We interviewed Corporal Montoya. I have interviewed Victoria Vera Singh, and a young woman named Maral Ganchuyag. I'll probably pronounce her last name wrong. Mongolian young woman. You know, I've been talking to Whitney Kernodle about getting. She's not from the Pike, but getting somebody through Black Parents of Arlington. We already interviewed Katie Drew for the first book.
Okay.
I love Katie. Though her
I'm
kids
I'm
are
thinking her
good.
kids though.
Yeah, and I know the kids. That's a really good idea. Thank you. I know those kids. Yeah. And Katie's got about as deep roots in the county as you're gonna get.
Yep. Yep.
You know?
And I think the kids appreciate, so it can be hard sometimes for them with the legacy that they grew up in. But yeah, I'm sure they have an amazing perspective on this.
Yeah, when you talk about that, it can be intimidating. I spent 2 years teaching at the National Cathedral School in DC. It was totally different than teaching public school. And I'm still in touch with a number of my former students who are now in their 50s, early 50s. And one of them is an African American. I keep getting the phrase on people being called Black now. Tiffany White, who called me, and she's an attorney, but she's trying to do something in the arts, and we got to talking. And she said she always felt intimidated because her senior class president was another young Black woman named Susan Rice, who was our representative to the UN and all this stuff. And I said, don't compare yourself to Susan Rice. I mean, there's one of her. It was a truly extraordinary. I mean, Susan's great, but it's truly extraordinary, unusual personality. Tiffany's bright and wonderful, but it had to live her own life. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Katie's kids, and I do know them. I'm also looking at have a query into Christian Dorsey's older daughter, who I've known since she was a baby. And we'll see where she comes out. She's articulate but quiet, and I don't know if she's more camera shy than, we'll see. I just did her bat mitzvah pictures a few months ago. So we'll see. But yeah, it would rather have more names. Katie's kids are a really good idea. We're waiting for La Cocina, the food training operation at Gilliam Place. They're waiting till after January. Apparently they're going to change their name and rebrand, but we want to interview, we'll photograph the operation, but also photograph one of their young people who's preparing for a future in food service, as a chef or an entrepreneur, which you think, doing that. These are not gotcha stories at all. They're aspirational, rather than, this is community journalism or documentary. We want to reflect who we are, but our best song, so if you can keep that in mind, and I'd be happy to come, minimum we can come out and photograph too. Because that's important. And also, Alex, or anybody in your community, we missed a really good Latino festival that was just off the Pike, not in your neighborhood, but next one or two over, that we didn't fell, I didn't hear about it till after it happened. So if you know of anything happening, we're happy to come out. It's what we do.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I'm out at everything, so I'll let you know.
Yeah,
next time we do something.
you're the Energizer Bunny. But that's a good, it's good to know about that stuff. I mean, Kim Klingler's people at the partnership have been very helpful to us. We're on our, I think, 4th director of CPRO now partnership. Jim Whitaker, and then Takis, and then Celia Cassidy, and now Kim, all of whom have been lovely to work with, but they're each brings their own energies and and programs to the Pike.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lloyd. I mean, this has been fantastic, and I've lived on the Pike since '99, watched it change for better, for worse, and
it changes.
Yeah. So you have absolutely captured the spirit, the soul, not only the people, the architecture, all the plethora of changes.
I don't know how many pictures we turned into Virginia Library, but my guess is it's in the 10,000 range.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's not artistically that interesting, but may have historical stuff where it's, the whole take. We'll shoot the Blues Festival, I'll turn in 400 pictures, of which 20 are interesting.
How many did they take in total out of that?
Everything. Alex, it went on one of these.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard drive. You put a lot of photographs on a hard drive. In fact, the hard drive I actually used is sitting under my printer.
So what did they take down in Richmond?
So far, we've gotten a review. We got a review in Richmond Magazine. So they kept calling Arlington Alexander. They're going to print a retraction. It's not online yet. Boomer Magazine down there did something north of Richmond. Broadcast Magazine, which is the library's magazine, did something. It's gotten a lot of play there. Not so much. I can't get Arlington now to even look at us.
Really? That's a shame.
I mean, and once in a blue moon, the Sun Gazette. I used to have a great relationship with the Washington Post magazine editor. I can't get Dudley Brooks there to answer a phone call, but you try.
That burns me. I mean, you have we're right in the Beltway, right next to the top of all this great news, journalism, media, and you can't get the local newspapers are just like about.
But on that, I have this friend. He's a Grammy-winning trumpet player. Lives up in New York. And among the works he does is klezmer, Jewish music, and he's really, really good player. And his band is called the Klezmatic. One of his bands, Klezmatics. And we were talking about this exact issue about your local area has trouble noticing you. And he said he offered the synagogue that he goes to in the Lower East Side area, the East Village. Look, we'll do a fundraiser for you, for the school. And they blew him off thinking, how good could he be? His kid goes here, right? Next week he's in St. Petersburg, he's in Petersburg, Russia, or he's playing, in a session with, LL Cool J, or he's playing at Carnegie Hall, or he's writing music for a film. But the people, they don't know that. We do get good support from a number of our nonprofits on the Pike and in the county, and our elected officials have been really positive. I've got to hand it, they've been really supportive. We haven't gone to them for money, but when we need letters written or doors open, they've been really good. We're hoping to show the work when it comes back to Richmond. One of the problems is there's no gallery space along Columbia Pike.
Yeah.
None, zero, nada.
Oh, but we're changing that. So that got approved last Saturday.
Really?
Yes.
Where?
Oh my gosh. It took us more than 10 years, but so galleries will be allowed by right. So we're trying to shrink how much time, and we've also been pushing for pop-ups.
Bless you.
So Saturday, it was finally approved by the county board. 10 years. Oh God, it was a long road.
You have more patience than I do. Our first big, well, we had shows at George Mason. We had a big show when the Arlington Mill before they put the bike store there. But to get us in that space took multiple lawyers. Luckily, I was kept out of that because I would have started screaming. And they came up with some kind of little legal thing that you could have a pop-up, but not a gallery. You know, so we ended up having it. It was fine. It was a good space. But it's now a bike store. There's nothing there. So where would there be a gallery space opening?
We just got the permission to do it by right. So I don't know if any galleries are in the queue just yet. The only one I know who's in the queue already are some dog boarding places from all the changes that happened on Saturday. But Kim Klingler and the Columbia Pike Partnership Group, I'm sure she's got somebody.
Yeah, I can talk to Stephen. Because it's hard to show in the community. One of the things we're doing is we're creating pull-up banners that we're going to be taking to, when they get done and we're able to go again, to the farmers markets, so people have some access to the work and we'll be able to get the books out. COVID really got, we have 2 books and not that many people have had access, particularly the second one. And then also we're creating a very short video, maybe 5 minutes, 6 minutes, that'll be shown at Pike Movie Nights as a, not a trailer, but like a preview, about the community before the movie starts, just with a lot of the pictures and little mini interview stuff, just to get a sense, so people understand that where they're living and have some pride in it. And Steph, if you find any gallery space, let me know, because we're hoping to show somewhere when the stuff comes back.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Penrose Square. I'm sorry, Steph, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yes, we definitely will, because that was one of the things it blew my mind that it was so hard for anybody to try to get a gallery in or some of the basic businesses. It just, county is really strange some days.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of retail spaces that are sitting empty, and perhaps permission for pop-ups would be allowed. It's not like a permanent gallery, but at least it gives a place for somebody. Sushmita has been, I think I'm not a good enough organizer. I do this, take pictures, to get some kind of culture place, like art space on the Pike where people can come in, share their stories, make some artwork, have an exhibition space. There isn't anything down. There's no Lee Center, Madison Center. I had a show with two Bangladeshi photographers at Walter Reed Center. They took care of everything, but we could only have it up for 3 or 4 days. It was all temporary space. It wasn't like it wasn't easy to bring the community in. So bless you for whatever you did to blow those doors down.
And whatever we can do as a civic association here in Penrose, you got it. I'm in contact with Stephen from CPP as well about the winter events they're putting on, and as we get into
yeah, he's great
too. He's been fantastic. So
yeah, the big one I got to.
We'll make it happen for you, Lloyd.
Thank you. With another big one, I got to recontact the Mongolian community, because their festival, which they held in the old Patrick Henry School just before COVID, it was one of the more amazing things I've ever been to in this county. But it was, I think I might have been one of 3 people who wasn't Mongolian at the place, and it was just a delight. Lovely folks, but there's a large Mongolian community on Pike, and from what I can tell, it's still growing. Anyway, I've taken too much time, and
you're fine.
And I want to say thank you to JP for the good work he's doing in our community and will do. Thanks for being here, man, for all of us.
Thank you both for joining us. Thank you, Lloyd.
Thanks a lot. I'm gonna take off.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you. Okay, so I'll run through this briefly here. A couple community updates. Christine's not joining us this evening. She wrote me an email that she couldn't join us, but I'll forward her the latest on this if I haven't already. The Solid Waste Bureau is on top of the garbage bin concerns the Fillmore Gardens area. I've been working with another gentleman in the neighborhood about that, and he has recently told me they have cited the complex to replace the dumpsters by the end of this month. Pete told me that they're looking pretty good when she drove up there. I think there's one relatively new dumpster, another one that should be replaced by the end of the month. I'm going to be going up there anyway this week, so I'll keep everybody abreast of what's going on there. We just had the Towers Park Playground construction. This is the project we had Jawan Du come on several months ago and share with us. That just started. They have fenced off the gazebo area at Towers Park, as I saw today out when I was walking my dog. That's going to be slated for a Q2 2022 completion date. So all the facilities there, the lower park, the dog park, the tennis courts, all that stuff is going to remain in full service. The only issue is they're of course going to be roping off, and have started roping off that upper field section where the gazebo is, and they're going to be taking up, they are starting to take up 2 to 4 parking spaces for their construction vehicles. But yeah. And then Steph, I'm going to lean on you if I got this right. So I reached out to, I forget her name at the moment, the Arlington Heights Civic Association president, regarding their career center update. Option 4 was recently chosen by the school board. So that means there's going to be a new building, as far as I could understand, for those 1,700 students. And I was going through the notes from the meeting notes for that school board meeting. So I'll send some more information out on that. And something really cool, well, Lloyd's not with us, but Susan Thompson Gaines and I hosted a Penrose Kindness photo shoot where I went out with her, and we just invited everybody in the neighborhood to come and get a free family photo. So, and then I edited those and sent them to everybody via Google Drive. And we ended up, it was just pay whatever you want, donate whatever you had through Venmo or whatever. And we ended up raising over $500 for the neighborhood for those in need. So she has a family, maybe I think it's a Syrian family staying with her at the moment in her basement. I mean, this woman is doing everything for the community. She has a food pantry out there. If you've probably seen her posting on the Arlington Neighbors Helping Each Other through COVID-19 group. She's active, of course, on the Penrose Neighborhood Association Facebook page. But I mean, she spends every waking minute of her life, putting together food, clothes, you name it, for those who in need in the community. So we can't thank her enough. And I was very proud to partner with her recently. And it's something I'm definitely looking forward to doing again, perhaps this winter or spring 2022, to do another community photo shoot. Do you have a comment, Steph?
Well, I was going to go back to the bummer news on the Career Center,
Okay.
but I kind of didn't want to.
No, you're fine. If I have it wrong, please let me know. I'll fix the PowerPoint and get everybody the right news.
Yeah, at some point, I think we do have to have a Penrose meeting for the Career Center, because that is a massive, massive change. It's going to impact us. They're going down to only 425 spots, and that's for students and the teachers, and the Montessori, formerly known as Patrick Henry Elementary School. There's definitely a lot of discussion and issues going on. But the Fillmore building right next to the Career Center, it's a low story, like 2 stories, I think right now. That's supposed to all come down soon and be replaced by a much larger building. So we'll have construction, noise, additional people attempting to park for a very, very long time to come. But yeah, it's very complex, and Pete's probably actually the best person to help address some of it, and Christy Saward, who's the president from Arlington Heights.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. That's definitely going to be on our radar coming up. Pete had mentioned to me that they're going to be knocking it down. Have they put forward a sort of breaking ground on that date for Fillmore at this point?
I don't remember a date, and a lot of the Arlington County public websites were just completely fouled up over
I've been
the
trying
past.
to do all this research on all this stuff, and all the links are broken. It's been a disaster.
Yeah, so
Absolute
the
disaster.
county staff is definitely very aware of the broken links. The main thing is just keep sending in messages about a broken link and complaints. And on a good note, we did extend the community policing review board. The applications were supposed to close last Friday, but you couldn't even get to the site. They didn't even have the community policing review board process. You couldn't find any of the materials anywhere. So they have extended that, I think, until December 2nd, I think was the date. But if you can't find something on the website, please send a note to the Arlington County staff, report a problem app, however you want to do it. And they are very apologetic, and they're trying to get through them all as fast as they can.
Excellent. Thank you, Steph. So here are a few things on the horizon. Steph, I'm probably gonna have you and everybody else on our board get together next month in person, talk about some of these updates. So we do it via Zoom. I'm definitely very interested in getting our website up to speed for 2021. Chris Blatt has given me all the access and permissions to go in there and fiddle with everything. I'm personally unfamiliar with the web hosting service that he's used, or however this was formulated when we launched, or whatever, how many iterations it's gone through. I have somebody in mind who did my photography website. He's done numerous websites for me for other projects. So we can decide on a budget. I wouldn't imagine anything more than $300-400 for a fully fledged new website update. We can get together as a board and look at what kind of options we have in that realm. I'm interested in personally putting together in tandem with a website update, going ahead and doing, something I can do myself, which is a massive flyering campaign around the neighborhood to get more folks involved, especially young people, renters, folks who aren't retired, work remotely, or property owners in the area. Just so you all know, I've recently become president. Our VP at the moment, George Strubbs, lovely guy. He's just very busy. He's offered to step down if somebody is interested in becoming our vice president. And we're still in need of a secretary. So if anybody's interested, if you have anybody in mind who lives in the neighborhood that may be interested, please send them my way. Steph was a former Penrose president. Pete, who is now our treasurer, not on the call with us this evening, was also a former Penrose president. So I'm very blessed to have both of them on the board still to show me the ropes and keep me honest about the Career Center updates and Fillmore Garden stuff. Regarding next month's meeting, we can do another Zoom. I'm a little zoomed out. I was thinking it'd be cool for all of us just to get together in person, enjoy each other's company. It's going to be around the holidays. I envision a lot of folks are going to be traveling, have other obligations around this time, the third Tuesday of the month. We're, week before Christmas. So it would just be nice to see everybody. I would like to do something in person. So to be announced on that. And I've had a lot of requests for another Penrose historical walking tour that I put on for the association and for the Arlington Junior Chamber of Commerce several months ago. So that's definitely going to be on the horizon. Maybe it's going to be a little cold, but maybe when it warms up early next year, we can do another one. Or if folks are willing to brave the cold and go out, that's fine too. We can do a winter one. So if you have any ideas, anything you want to see, any recommendations, things you want from me, my email here, penroseprez@yahoo.com. My door's open. Please send me an email and I'll get right back to you. Go ahead, Steph.
I didn't have anything.
Oh, okay. It had like a yellow box around you, like you were trying to speak, which is why I thought you did. Okay, so that's all I got for everybody this evening. 8:30. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I'll let everybody get back to what they're doing. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you. It was a great program.
Awesome. Have a great evening, everybody.
Good night.